welcome everyone to another live free webinar with San Diego Herbal Medicine and Acupuncture. My name is Dr. Jazz, and we appreciate all you guys being here today. So thank you for showing up. So today we're going to talk about TCM and at-home remedies that you can take care of. So I'm going to start by talking about breath. So I wanted to do this conversation today about breathing because I had a patient this week who was really concerned for her capacity to increase her lungs. She has a history of asthma, and she thought she came down with something and ended up in the hospital in the COVID unit, and they cleared her. She didn't have it, but she was still fearful of the breath that she wasn't able to fully take. So I took her through a little exercise where I talked about how we don't need to, or we usually think of the breath just your chest rising and falling. But when we breathe, our lungs expand actually in all directions, right? So if you think of cardinal directions, we have north, south, east, west, but also up and down. And so to that point, I want to talk about the diaphragm. So for those of you who don't know, the diaphragm is a muscle that is at the base of our rib cage, and it separates the heart and the lungs from all the rest of the organs. And when it's at rest, it's in an umbrella shape, this concave. And so when we take a deep breath in, it goes convex. So sometimes it's not always the lung function that's impeded. It could be that the organs are inflamed and taking up the space where the diaphragm should go. Perhaps you need an adjustment. Perhaps there's some kind of muscle spasm. Who knows? But that's what you can do with the practitioner, is find out if it's something other than the lungs that's inhibiting your ability to take deep breaths. And so I bring this up because in Chinese medicine, your lungs are your first defense for your immune system. Think about it. We're constantly bringing the outside world into our bodies through our lungs, through our mucous membranes. That's why with COVID, what they're doing is they're swabbing the inside of our noses, because that's where it would go first, and that's where they can detect it. So taking deep breaths are not only going to increase our immunity, because we need oxygen in our cells for them to function properly, but it's also going to make you feel better. You're going to think clearer. Once your brain gets the proper amount of oxygen, then you're going to be able to go through your day feeling better. So that's just one of the concepts that I want you to understand for this at-home remedy that you can do, which is deep breaths. Super simple, right? So if you think about it, when you think about yoga, meditation, all those things, what do they say? Go back to your breath. Breathe through the moment, because your breath is one of the most essential things that you can be doing at home in every single moment. So that's the place to start for that. The second thing is, if you also want to treat your lungs, there are other options, especially if you're stuck at home and you're looking for other treatments. You can use ear seeds. So for those of you who don't know, ear seeds are these little seeds that are on these stickies, and all you can do is put them in your ear. And so we're using the reflexology in the ear to treat different parts of the body. So I have a lung point here. And on the other side, I have the bling. These are the ones that are super shiny, and they're crystals. And so they're really fun to do. So if you want to be a little more decorated and get a treatment, you can do those, or you can do the plain old Vicaria seed ear seeds. So we'll put a link in the chat box, and we'll also post it on the YouTube video if you're watching this on the YouTube video. You can click on the link and you can get some ear seeds for yourself. And if you want a session with a practitioner to help you put the ear seeds on, you can do that as well. So I hope that was informative about my part of this presentation today. And now I'm going to send it over to Kim, who's going to talk about some herbs.
Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you, Jazz.
You're welcome.
That was lovely. Very informative. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the use of some home remedies during this time to help boost the immune system. And then also, if we are starting to feel that little tickle in the throat or a small cough in the chest, home remedies that you can use to kind of kick up the immune system to help push those symptoms out. So in a really simple nature, the use of ginger. So what you would do is you would just slice the ginger into small slices and warm the ginger in a pot. We also sell dried ginger at the clinic, and especially with ginger, you want to make sure not to boil it for too long because it will lose some of its effective properties. One of the most active ingredients in ginger is gingerol, and that is the part of the ginger that makes it the most anti-inflammatory and able to kick out a sore throat or kick out a cough. Um, Another herb here I have is my fresh mint. I actually propagated this mint. It's super simple. I got some sprigs from a friend and actually rooted it in some water. And so you just wait for the roots to come out. So you take the sprig of mint, you put it into a glass of water, and you wait for the roots to come out. Once the roots are out, you can plant the mint into a contained pot, and that can be planted and left in your garden. One of the differences between mint and ginger is you want to make sure with mint, when you're ingesting mint and mint tea, that you have like a sore throat, scratchy eyes, a little bit of inflammation in the head. Whereas ginger, you're going to want to use if you have like a scratchy throat, clear, watery discharge coming out of the nose, and a little cough in the chest. So the difference between these two is the ginger is going to be more hot in nature, so you want to treat the cold symptoms, which would be the watery discharge out of the nose and a little bit of the cough. Whereas with the mint, you're going to want to be treating the yellow, more yellow-green phlegm and like a more of like a hacking cough and a sore throat. So that's the main difference between these two guys when you're using them in the kitchen. And you can just take this tea, sip it throughout the day. I would say about 3 cups of tea or until the symptoms start decreasing. And there you go. There you have it. Your 2 at-home remedies for any sort of colds that are starting. Another thing that I just want to stress upon is when you are purchasing these herbs, you want to make sure that you're purchasing them through credible places. You don't want to go to like a CVS or like any grocery store to purchase like ginger supplements or mint supplements because you don't know the quality of them. So you do want to make sure that you're getting them from reputable places. If you do get the fresh mint and fresh ginger, you want to make sure that they're organic, not filled with pesticides, and because those things can be more harmful to your body than good. And that's all I have today. If you have any more questions, we love giving out herbal formulas, and please don't hesitate to reach out, and we would love to prescribe you some herbs. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, Kim. I love both of those herbs. Use them all the time. I'm growing at home. So, guys, hi. I hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Tim. So I'm gonna try to cram a 5-hour topic into 5 minutes here. But the topic for today is, home remedies, what we can do while we're at home. And I have a roomie quote that I like to read everybody. It goes like this. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. So how can we apply this? During times like this, where everything is out of control, and it literally is out of our control, it's a really good time to go inwards and reflect. One of the things I want to talk about today is our capacity. There's a really unique dynamic taking place right now, in my opinion, evolutionary wise. So, due to recent advances in technology and the rate at which we have excelled in technology with the advent of the internet, and then now it's in the palm of our hands. And it's not like we have to log on anymore, like early 2000s, right? It's instant and everywhere. Technology has progressed so fast that I believe our bodies as organic beings, as animals, and evolutionary wise, I actually feel like we're behind. So, technology advanced at a certain rate, and we're catching up evolutionary wise. Now, what am I exactly talking about here? I'm talking about our capacity to handle, our brain's capacity to handle the information, the massive amounts of information being delivered at the speed of light to us, and two, the capacity of our hearts and our spirits to handle the massive amounts of exposure that we have because of this technology to the grief and suffering that is taking place globally. So, as humans, we're designed to have the capacity for a village, right? Somebody passes away in the village, or there's a hardship. Yes, you take it hard, it hurts, and so forth. And now we're taking on the globe. So we're catching up, people. Evolutionary wise, I really don't believe we're prepared. And I think that's why there's so much anxiety and depression at this day and age, because we're catching up. And I believe we will catch up in time. But so what do we do right now at home? Getting back to topic, like I said, I tried to cram a whole very deep philosophical concept into 5 minutes here. What do we do at home? We all talk about this, and no one does it. Turn off your phones. So what do? We have to censor. We have to really do a good job of censoring the bombardment of information that's hitting us. So when we're bored, we want, for some reason, because um, our brains secrete excitatory chemicals, based on things that we read, right? So we're getting constant stimulation. So we're stuck in this place because we're getting rewarded for picking up the phone and reading some interesting article. Boring, boring, boring. Ooh, interesting chemicals, right? So we're getting rewarded, so we're drawn to it, but at the same time, it's beating us up. It's beating us up mentally. It's beating us up emotionally. It's beating us up spiritually. Our hearts cannot handle it. So what do we do at home, people? We stop. So you turn off your TV. You turn off your phones. You go inward. You meditate because the universe is with you. That's what I have for today. I hope that helps out, and that is something that you guys can do at home. And we'll continue with this. There's a lot more to talk about in our upcoming features. In the meantime, Jazz and Kim, I will post in the notes here. There's a lot of medicinal herbs you can take for lung function that are higher grades and stronger than just ginger and mint, and you can get a qualified herbalist to write your custom formula. So we can put that here in the notes here in the chat, and you can book a session, and we can write you a custom formula for lung function, which is also directly related to grief. But thank you so much for today.
Ram, I got a quick question for you that I see here in the chat. What to do when you turn your phone off? So, meditation is one of the things, but are there other things that you suggest that can be done? And before you answer that, I just wanted to add that, darkness is something that our brains need too. And that's another thing about all these devices is this blue light is really hard on our brains, especially if you're looking at night. And that's why a lot of people have insomnia issues, is because you're looking at that blue light right before bed. So I purchased some glasses. These are blue light reflective glasses that I try to wear when I know I'm going to be on my computer a long time, especially at night if I'm trying to wind down, so that blue light is blocked and isn't stimulating my brain and I can actually rest. Because that's one of the things, for those of you who don't know, I studied with a Taoist master in Thailand, and one of the things he was always emphasizing is that our brains need darkness. And we don't get darkness. You have the light outside your window, you have a night light on, you have the little red dot from your computer or whatever. We don't actually get that complete darkness, and that's when our brains are healing and able to process everything that we've gone through the day. So if you can wear a mask at night or get blackout curtains or something to give yourself that darkness. And if you're feeling that in the daytime where you're feeling overwhelmed and you can't manage things, give yourself some darkness, and that can be a really easy way to kind of help the brain reset. The Taoist master I studied with, Master Montauk Chu, would always have us put our palms over our eyes, and he'd say, shut down the computer, reboot your computer. by giving yourself that darkness. So that's a really easy way to kind of give your brain that chance to reboot. So anything you wanted to add to that?
Awesome, Jazz. No, that's great. Yeah. So one of my philosophies and people that I follow and research I've done over the years, personally, the fastest way to spirituality is to immerse yourself in nature. So that quietness comes in nature, I believe. Remove yourself from metal, concrete, you know, and all the sounds that go along with that, all the stimulation that goes with that, and remove yourself from that and go into nature. Go for a hike, go for a walk, go camping. And it's very tough at first. I did it a couple of years ago. I went camping and I wanted to leave the first 2 days. I was worried about the rain. We're like, oh, where's the tarp? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the food? And then after 3 days, we're all barefoot, with mud on our feet. We didn't care. It was raining. We enjoyed the rain. It's like, oh my God, we're animals and we can't survive in nature. So that's very dangerous, I believe. We're on a dangerous path, getting more and more detached from nature. And so I love technology and I would love to incorporate technology into my life, but it needs to be balanced with nature. So that's what I recommend to all the viewers out there. The fastest way to separate yourself is to go out in nature. Surfers do a good job of this. Any of you know surfers? They're addicted to surfing because they go out in the water. It's about the meditation. It has nothing to do. Has a lot more to do with that than the actual sport of landing. So that's my recommendation. Go out, go hug a tree.
Great.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Ride a bike. Yes.
Yes. Ride a bike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's a good one. And like what Kim was talking about, if you can grow a plant, right? Like if you can't get out to nature, especially if you're stuck inside, we all got plants behind us here. Ron's got bottles of plants behind him. But if you can get your fingers in dirt, and grow something at home, it's super easy to put a plant. There's tons of DIY stuff on the computer right now, or online, I should say, about how to, grow an avocado or potatoes or whatever. It's super easy to do and can be that one connection that you have if you can't find another way to get to nature.
Yeah, one thing to snowball off of that was I was doing some research on oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone and the hormone that makes us feel close to people and like loved and connected. And one of the ways that it said that we can produce more oxytocin in our brains is by taking care of plants as well. So in a time that we do have a lot more isolation, loving on our little plant babies can give us some oxytocin.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it takes practice, guys. I think it's very hard at first. It's like taking a drug. It's like to get off the technology because it's doing the same thing. The brain chemicals that are being produced are no different than what an addict is after. So we are literally addicted to technology because it makes our brains secrete those chemicals. So it does take discipline. It does take some time. And we all know to do it. It's a matter of doing it. We all know to do it. So tonight, when you go home, turn off the phone from 6 to 9. What happens? It's a challenge.
I like it.
All right, guys.
Cool. Does anyone have any other questions?
Can I read a final quote?
Yes, please.
Okay, this quote just hit me today. In the rush to return to normal, use this time to consider which parts of normal are worth rushing back to.
Ooh, nice.
Great. Well put. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you. Thanks for everyone who's watching this after the fact. We love having you here. We love to inform you and educate all of you about simple Chinese medicine things that you can do at home. And please reach out to us, send us an email, check out our links, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. And we'll probably do another one of this in the near future, and we'll let you all know about it. All right. Thanks for now. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Thank you for coming.